Now, for part 2 of Mixed and Mastered with Dante Ross. Welcome to Mixed and Mastered, the podcast where the stories of the music industry come to life. I'm Jeffrey Sledge, bringing you real conversations with the people who have shaped the sound of music. We're pulling back the curtain on what it takes to make it in the music business. These are the stories you won't hear anywhere else, told by the people who live them. This is Mixed and Mastered.
So I decided that day I want to work at Elektra Records.
So
he hired me. Yeah. So that was like the thing, though. It was not necessarily the rap stuff, but he told me I signed Anita Baker, I signed Parliament, I signed Keith Sweat, and I was like, wow. But he's like, I've worked with Richard Pryor, I signed him, and I was like, really? He's like, he's the craziest fucking guy in the whole world. But when he told me signed the Pixies and played me Tracy Chapman, that's when I decided I had to work there. So I went to work at Elektra Records.
Yeah, and there you worked with Brand Nubian and Leaders of the New School and Old Dirty Bastard and Del the Funky Homo Sapien and P-Rock and CL Smooth.
Yep.
That was an amazing roster, bro. That's
an amazing
crazy
run.
A crazy
we
run.
Never had a great promo team.
You were running. You were rolling, man. Jesus
I mean,
Christ.
Look, we never had the promo team that did those records justice. And I got sick of hearing that from everyone, too. Like, if those records had been a jive, I would have 5 platinum records, or at least gold records.
You're right.
You know how many gold records I had at Elektra? 1.
Yeah.
Old Dirty Bastard. 1.
That was only
1. I had 1 gold record at Elektra Records.
Pete and CL didn't go gold?
I think it's gold now.
Yeah, but at the time, I'm saying, that's incredible. I did not know that.
150,000 sold. Yep.
With a smack hit record there. With a hit record pushing it.
Yep. And we never had a great promo guy. The best guy we had was Ruben Rodriguez, and he had his own label.
Yeah.
So he cared about Diggable Planets more than my groups.
Yeah, he cared about his own shit. Exactly.
And they won gold. Won gold. So he but Kraz, and I signed KMD, obviously.
Oh, yeah,
MF Doom. But my first record was a flop, Shazzy. I came out the gate with a flop that only J-Zone remembers.
Wow.
So it didn't work.
And was Nubian next?
Next. And they limped out of the gate. Ruben Rodriguez hated them.
What was the first single?
Feels So Good.
Feels So Good.
And B-side was Brand Nubian. And he hated them. He hated them. He was everything they hated.
Yeah.
And they were everything he hated. He's a bougie dude. He wore like a mink coat. The whole thing. He's,
fucking
one of those. His hair. He had the Peebo Bryson going on.
Absolutely.
He never liked me. He hated me. He hated me. I mean, look, man, I went to work with size 40 jeans and a skateboard and a backwards baseball hat and gold chain. He was not jacking me at all.
Yeah, he wasn't.
He wasn't rocking with me. And Brand Nubian, he if it was up to him, he would have fired me, but he couldn't because Kraz loved me.
Yeah, because Kraz,
Kraz made me a vice president really early. I was the youngest vice president in history of Warner Music Group up to that point.
Wow.
So I think I was 25 years old, 26 years old, I was a vice president. And I became senior vice president.
Wow.
Yeah, Kraz loved me. And look, I had all those great records. Leaders of the New School, which Buster came out of. And I had a great run. But, all good things come to an end.
Yeah, they do. And so from there you go to.
I went to Def Jam.
You went to Def Jam.
I had a label deal at Def Jam, and I did A&R there as a vice president, and it was terrible.
Now, what period of Def Jam was this? Because Def Jam has had its period.
The G-Funk period. Warren G is the guy. South Central Cartel is on the map. I go there. I sign Trigger the Gambler. The record it's not good. Me and Lior go to war. I have 0 hits. I work on the Nutty Professor soundtrack. It's a bad fit.
You're dying.
It's a bad fit.
It's a bad fit.
It's a bad fit. I should have never done it. I had my own label, No Doubt Records. No doubt the band comes out. It's all fucked up. Everything that could go wrong goes wrong. I end up deciding to not go to work. I'm not going to work anymore. I'm not going to go to the office anymore.
I'm out.
And I have a contract. They got to pay me.
Yeah.
That pay me overhead. I'm not going. I don't return Leroy's calls. I start making, I always made beats. I produced shit for Brand Nubian, for Puba. Oh, also I did the solo Grand Puba record, which was a hit.
Yeah.
Had Elektra, which should have been a gold record, but it
Should have.
wasn't. We
Absolutely.
had a huge single, 360.
Yep.
So, and Grand Puba is the best, worst artist I ever worked with in my whole life. One of the greatest rappers, top of the food chain, but the guy who will leave you stranded in the airport waiting for him 6 hours, and not show up, and just, man, just the shenanigans. I love the guy, but shenanigans. I'm still holding resentments to this day. Sylvia Rhone took over, and me and her we weren't a great fit. But in retrospect, I should have stayed. I should have made it work. I was one of those guys like, I didn't understand the fact that you don't love your job. I didn't love working for her, so I quit. And it was dumb because she was a great promo person.
She
I
was.
quit because the second Pete Rock record stiffs, underperforms, and so does the second Grand Poobah record. I'm under the gun, but I got Buster's solo record in my back pocket, and I leave right after Dirty comes out. What I should have done is stayed and hired somebody and gone to work at Interscope, but I did a deal at Def Jam because I want to be my own boss. It didn't work out. I'm just dying. I'm dying over there. But I started really focusing on making beats. Oh, I had Dell too at Elektra, and I produced stuff for Dell on that second record, which performed actually. I think 350. It did pretty good, 300. And that was a miracle making that record. Anyway, I had to redo the whole thing over. But anyway, I'm dying. I'm getting cooked at Def Jam, and I just really focus on making music. And me and Everlast had been friends since I met him at World on Wheels with De La. We
Wow.
remained friendly. I was friends with them when House of Pain blew up.
Well, you were gone from Tommy Boy when House of Pain
I was
blew,
gone.
correct? Okay, you were.
I was gone. But they were. I was friends with them. I was friends with Muggs. I was friends with Cypress Hill, who I wanted to sign to Elektra, and my boss wouldn't let me sign him because of Killer Man. I should, that would have been another one of mine. But they went to Columbia and they sold way more records than they would on Elektra. So God bless.
Yeah.
And I remain friends with them. So, that's what it is. Muggs still a good friend of mine to this day, and so is Be Real. So I go back to my studio. I start making music, and I linked up with Everlast. He was in New York. I don't know what the fuck he was doing in New York. We just started hanging. Oh, that's what it was. I'm in LA working at Def Jam, but I put Sadat X on loud, and I put out Sadat X Wild Cowboys record. I'm managing X.
Wow.
And it's so stupid. I could have gone and worked at Loud, and I did the deal at Def Jam.
Yeah, with Steve. Yeah.
Steve tried to hire me to be his first A&R guy right when Wu-Tang came out because I had Dirty. And he was like, come and be the senior vice president here. And I turned him down. So anyway, and Steve, I love Steve to this day. He's one of my favorite people. What a great dude.
Mm-hmm.
So I linked up with Everlast in LA because of Guru, rest in peace. We're staying at the Mondrian Hotel. So is Guru's crazy ass. We go to drink with Guru, me and X, and he's like, yo, Everlast is coming. Everlast shows up, and me and him, we just start vibing. He says, I want to put X on the song on my House of Pain record I'm working on. And I'm like, let's make it happen. And Guru was like, y'all motherfuckers is like the same dude. Like you both the same crazy white dude.
Yeah.
So and Eric's like, yeah, we've been hearing that for years. And facts is that Muggs and him thought that me and Eric hanging out together during the House of Pain first run was bad, that someone's going to jail. They're like, someone's going to go to jail. So that was kind of the vibe. And but me and him hit it off. He flew X back out a couple of weeks later to do the song. He actually followed up on something. Someone who says something drunk follows up.
And actually came through with it, yeah.
Yeah, so then he came to New York, and he was running around. He was on the House of Pain tour for the last record. They did the video for Fed Up. I'm in the video with Guru on the remix with Peter Green. You know who that is? The actor. He's in Pulp Fiction. He's Zed.
Wow.
So he kills me in the video. I don't know. You can find it on YouTube. Anyway, but me and Eric, we just start hanging out heavy. And he's running around with me and my crazy ass friends. My boy Manny Stacks, who's locked up right now he got 20. Shout out to Stacks. I love you. And we're running around the streets of New York, bugging out. Just bugging out. He's staying with me. We're just doing crazy shit. Then I went to LA just to go. I was with this girl and she drove me crazy. I was like, I'm going to LA for a minute. I stayed at Eric's house. He had stayed at my house. We were chilling, and we went to the Super Bowl together that year. We drove from LA to Phoenix or Tucson or Scottsdale.
I went to that Super Bowl in Phoenix. I went to that one.
Steelers, Cowboys. Yep. I'm a Steeler fan. He's a Cowboy fan. We had crazy tickets, and we just, that was like my brother my brother from another. Like I was like, sometimes you meet people, and like that one time you hang out, you're just like best friends from that day on.
Connect.
It was Absolutely. Like that. And I slid him a tape of beats. And he was fucking with it, and then he was like, "Yo, let's." So he, like, right when the House of Pain record comes out, right after they go on this little tour, he quits the band. He's like, "Fuck this shit." And so Tommy Boy exercises the right to a solo record. We do demos. We start making a rap record. Meanwhile, Lior's paying me the whole time.
That's crazy.
I think the deal finally comes to an end. I'm one of those dudes, I always land, I'm like a leapfrog. I go from lily pad to lily pad. Yeah. Right when the clock's ticking, I catch another check. Yeah. Like, I got the best luck like that. So I'm all, because I think it's like, I'm not a big God guy in the traditional sense, but I think I'm always protected. Like, I'm always protected. That's why I made it out of the Lower East Side. That's why the dude got shot 20 feet away from me in Detroit on the Eric B. and Rakim tour, and we didn't get shot. That's why, like, I've seen all this shit happen. I've been like, look, guns have been pointed at me more than once in my life, and I didn't get shot. And, so, that's all something bigger than me. There's a reason. So I'm always protected. That's like another example of being protected. My deal's running out. I catch the check to do Eric's record. We start making a rap record. And it's going cool. Albie, the great Albie was my A&R guy.
Albie Ragusa.
Albie and Monica give me the job. Albie is super tight with Eric, super tight with me.
Yes.
So me and Albie did this club. That's another thing I forgot. Me and Albie did this club, White Boy Wednesdays. It was a party called Thang. Me, Stretch, Nick Quest did.
Albie. Jesus.
We do, the five of us own Jules, DJ Jules. We do this party called Thang. It lasted for like a year and change. It's like our version of Soul Kitchen. Everyone has to pay $5. We give you a blunt at the door so you can smoke weed there. It's at this place, the Island Lounge, which is a reggae club on the Bowery. And so that's what it is. And Eric came one night and he was with Albie. This is where it all started. And he was looking up, there was a tin ceiling. He was looking up the ceiling. I said, "What are you looking at, bro?" He said, "Man, I just ate some mushrooms and that ceiling's moving." And I started laughing, and he pulled out a bag of mushrooms, and me and Curious ate mushrooms with him. We hung out till like the next day. So that's when our bond was formed. It was like Voltron. That's when we really first became good friends. And then when we went to LA, we rekindled. So we came to New York, and I had my studio in the basement. He's staying at my house. I always, I'm really into writing, and I wrote about it in a book, but I'm going to work on, my next thing is I'm going to work on the screenplay on this, because my writer friend said, this is the part that you need to make a screenplay next. I'll talk about that later. But so I always say we were like two men who were lost at sea, and we found a life raft back to land, right? We had nowhere to go but up. Our best days were behind us. The odds were that we were going to crash out, that it was over.
They wrote you off.
Yeah, it was like you're on a downward cycle, bro. So we're in New York making a record, and I was quite popular with the ladies. At that time, I had a revolving door, and Eric would always be like, "Jesus Christ, bro!" Like, so he's on my couch, staying on my couch, and I walked in with this girl, and she looked Irish. She had like ivory skin, beautiful blue eyes. She's just a model girl. She's very beautiful. And he looks at her and he looks at me and he goes, "Home team?" And I said, "Home team," because he's Irish, right? And because she's, "What does that mean?" He's like, I was like, "Oh, you're Irish. He's Irish." She's like, "Who is that?" I was like, "That's Everlast." Yo, he doesn't look like the guy from House of Pain. I was like, "Don't get too excited," whatever.
Yeah.
So one thing leads to another, and I end up going. I go to the bathroom. I'm in like my boxer shorts, and you know, and I hear, oh, so Eric had come to the studio. I had a guitar in the studio, and he asked if he could borrow it because I knew he played guitar a little bit. He could play guitar. He was playing like, you know, he played like AC/DC songs and all this other shit, but I didn't know if he could really play. I didn't know he could really play. And I came out the bathroom, or I was going to the bathroom. I was going to it, and I heard him playing. And he's playing the song, he's strumming on the guitar. And I said, what the fuck is that? It was almost like when I heard that Tracy Chapman song. Or like when I heard like Cat Stevens when I was a little kid. I heard Wild World. I was like, that song is so beautiful. Or even like Use Me by Bill Withers. Like, you know, I'm a sucker for an acoustic guitar and emotional vocals. And I said, what the hell is that? That's super cool. He's like, oh, it's a song I wrote. I said, play that again. And he played it. He started singing it. He's singing the song. And I said, and I was blown away. I was like, yo, we got to record that. So that song was What It's Like.
Wow.
And it's exactly as is on the record. Like the melody, the everything, the
you
chords.
You basically just plug the mic in and just let him go.
It's exactly that song minus the drums and the strings. No bass, but it's that song. And I was like, we have to record that. And he goes, I'm not ready to do that yet. I said, why? He said, well, once I do that, I can't rap anymore. I said, nah, you're bugging. And I said that because me and him both were into Rage Against the Machine. Shit, I saw Rage Against the Machine open for House of Pain before they had a record deal, or before the record was out. They had been signed.
Wow.
So, and another fantastic band. So, and he had turned me on to Soundgarden. No, I knew Soundgarden, but he really got me to listen to Soundgarden. He turned me on to Radiohead. I didn't know they had anything good besides Creep, but he made me listen to Pablo Honey. And then I turned him on to a lot of music as well, older punk rock stuff. I got him into The Clash. So we were really into like turning each other on to music. This was a place that we met. And I stayed on him. Usually my rule of thumb is don't push too hard because the artist doesn't listen.
Yeah.
Make them always think it's their idea.
It's a fine line. It's a very fine line.
You know that song you want to do? You know what I mean? Like convince them they came up with the thought.
Yeah.
But this time I didn't do that. I didn't play psych games with Eric. I just was like, you got to do that. You got to do that. And then he played it for my partner, rest in peace, John Gamble. My production partner, my studio engineer, my brother. John gave me the look. And John hardly ever like gave me the look like, what the fuck? He gave me the look like, yo. And then he was like, yo, you got to get him to do that. So me being slick, I was like, yo, a couple of days, like maybe a week later, I was like, yo, really part of the studio today. Eric's like, really? I was like, yeah, John wants his guitar back. So he brought the guitar. I got there before him. I called him from the studio. So I had figured out approximately the tempo of the record. And I took the drums, the famous breakbeat, I chopped them up. And I said, yo, man, play that record again. And then I played the drums. Bonk. And he played it, and that shit fit like a hand in a glove, like bong. And we knew we had to do it. He recorded it.
As an A&R person, it's such a, you can't even describe it. But when you get one, it's a feeling. But you can't describe it to somebody who hasn't done it. But when you hear that
it's
one,
like the best sex you ever had in your life.
It's like, yeah, you can't. You chase that high for the rest of your life.
It's a God shot, like bong.
Literally,
it only happened to me a few times in my life.
Literally,
you know, a handful of times in my entire life. You know, because I've heard the record, I go, I know that's a hit, but there's also records that are hits.
This is different.
Right. There's a record that's like great. You're like, yes, that's great.
Yeah.
Happened to me with Grand Poobah. He did the rhymes on Step to the Rear in one shot. He did that shit because we were going to make another record, and Poobah, you know how long it took to track a song back in the day. Me and my partners had made another beat for him, and he walked in and he was like, I can't fuck with it. We're like, I hate you right now. So my partner, Gibi, rest in peace.
Gibi,
he was like, looked at me like, you know, Gibi was like the coolest cucumber on the block. Like
absolutely.
No one was cooler than that dude. And talk about like me and him together with the ladies was like ridiculous. Like, you know, he taught me everything I forgot. Like, you know, that guy was like the biggest influence on my whole life. So he looked at me and was like, I got this, kid. Like, and he pulled out he had a little box of S900 discs, and he went up to the S900 and he played the loop that is Step to the Rear, and
Wow.
just looped it. He started doing it by hand, and Pooh Bah was like, yo, that's that shit. And bong. And then we laid down the loop and a kick and a snare. There's nothing else in that record. And one piano hit.
And he raps it all the way through.
Yo, he rapped it in one shot. And I was like, this is the greatest record we ever made. We were both like, what the fuck? So, we did that whole song in like 4 hours. So, that was maybe the only other time was like,
yeah. So let me ask you a question. So the House of Pain comes out, I ain't gonna say blow up, explodes. 3 million albums or so?
3 albums. No. I think the single's like damn near diamond.
Yeah.
But the album I think is 2 or 3 million. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's crazy time. You win Grammy, which is crazy, right?
Oh, but you're talking about, you mean what it's the Everlast record, Whitey Ford Sings the Blues.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm saying House of Pain. I'm tripping. Everlast.
Triple platinum.
Yes. Yeah, my fault. Excuse me on that.
But what you forgot is that he had a heart attack before the record came out. So we were doing the last song in the whole album. I hadn't been back to New York for 8 or 9 months. I'm paying rent on my house. I want to fucking go back home. And I'm, a lot of Eric's fucking attacks man's on him. It's dark.
Mm-hmm.
We do the last song on the album. It's called Tired. He starts complaining about having chest pains. I said, yo, we got to finish the fucking record already, bro. Like, I got to go home. He, I didn't know how to drive. I'm living in LA in my girl's house because I was living with Eric, but I was like, I can't live with him, man, make a record. I'm going to kill him. He's going to kill me. It's like, it's too much. Me, him, and John in one house, forget it. He's complaining about chest pains. He says he had food poisoning. He ate at this terrible restaurant all the time, Damiano's. I was like, how could you eat that shit? Like, only Irishman eats that Italian, thinks that's Italian food. Like, get a better diet, kid. Like, stop, So, and I was also like, that's when I first really got into working out. I was like working out like all the time because I was so bored. He slept at 2:00 every day. I get up at like 8:00. So, I'm like, I have like 5 hours to kill every morning. So I go to the gym. And I got the call from John that he had a heart attack in the middle of the night. I got a rule, like, don't pick up the phone in the middle of the night because either someone died or someone needs you to get him out of jail.
It's never good.
It's never. Someone's in jail or someone's dead.
Yeah.
So I didn't pick up I wouldn't pick up my phone. He called the house, my girl's house. So I finally picked the phone. She was in Vegas at a trade show. And he said, yo, Dante, Eric had a heart attack. I went to the hospital. John looked like he seen a ghost. He said right before he got there, he went in a fucking code red, cardiac arrest. He might die. So he almost died. It was give or take for a couple of days, for 48 hours.
Wow.
And we'll be right back. Ready to launch your podcast? Merrick Studios offers comprehensive services, from concept development and seamless production to strategic marketing and monetization. Let your story take the mic. Visit merrickcreative.com/studios and let's get to work.
Master the art of lyricism with Pendulum Mink, the first school for rap. Learn elite techniques through immersive lessons, real-world exercises, and guidance from hip-hop icons. This is where MCs sharpen their skills and glow boldly on the mic. Ready to level up? Visit pendulummink.com and start your journey today.
And now, back to our show.
He was born with congenital heart valve disorder.
Okay.
He was taking Coumadin. It was mixed prescribed blood thinner. So that's why he had the heart attack. So anyway... So I finished the record. He was laid up. I took it back to New York, and I finished it without him. So Jamie Staub, Pete Rock's engineer, mixed it with me and John. We finished it. It was, to me, the best record I'd ever made. Took me out of my rap comfort zone.
Yeah.
It was my version of Check Your Head. Very different record. Nothing like it. But we're playing instruments.
I'm not saying, no, it's a whole different thing.
Yeah, right. It's like total and completely inspired by Check Your Head and by Beck and by Rage Against the Machine, Cake. I had done these demos with this band called Roguish Armament before that. And we almost got a deal and all fell apart, but it was like rock rap. It was pretty cool. So I knew I could I had like every label tried to sign me, just all fell apart. So I knew I could kind of figure that formula out. But Eric was a great songwriter, which those guys weren't. He could actually write songs. And he's a good singer. So he was laid up, and I finished the record, and we turned into Tommy Boy. He told me, Sam Crespo said, yo, your record is great. I don't know how they're going to sell this one. So I was happy, then sad in the span of 30 seconds. And Sam kept it real with me because I knew Sam forever.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, the record comes out. So ask your question, I'll answer it.
So what kind of mind fuck is it to become a Grammy winning, smash album producer?
It was
like,
it felt there was different emotions. So the good part of it is we walked through hell to get to heaven with that record.
Yeah.
And they say, I'm a believer that hell and heaven are on earth, right?
Yes.
I don't believe in mystery shit.
Yeah,
so,
like to go up to the sky type shit.
Yeah, I don't believe in none of that. So, we walked through hell, broke. He was broke, and I had a terrible breakup with this girl in New York, and we made this beautiful piece of art that was centered in our deep friendship. And the other thing is we made it in the house. We never went to a major studio. We mixed it in a big studio, but we made the whole thing at home recording, because I'd seen the Beasties' G-Son, and I had my studio in New York. So we just built a version of my studio in New York in Eric's house. So we did the whole thing in the house, horns, everything. There's no live drums on the record, but we did it all in the house except for strings. We did that in a big studio. So that was the ticket. And, the record comes out and it blows up. So I felt that we had earned every inch of that success. Eric almost died.
Yeah.
I never worked harder on a record in my entire life. I never wanted a record to count more.
Yeah.
I feel like he felt the same. John certainly felt the same. We were granted all of these gifts. So yes, a mind fuck. The positives were we worked really hard and believed in our bond and made this great record. That's the good stuff. The bad stuff is I got everything I wanted, and sometimes that's not good.
That's actually what I was gonna say that particularly, but yeah, it's kind of like you work hard. You guys are fucking damn near like in your boxers, you're making jams. You know what I'm saying? Like eating pizza and shit, and then this thing takes over the country and the world. It becomes this monster. It becomes its own thing. It becomes so big. It's so big. It becomes like its own kind of entity. It's just moving and all this money's coming in and people are calling you and come work with. Like I don't know how. Yeah, you said you kind of get everything that you thought about.
It didn't come out of the gate fast.
No, not out the gate. Not at the gate.
It limped out the gate. It limped out. It came out in August. He went on tour in September, played a show in New York, killed it, Coney Island High. John Leland, my old friend, gave it a stunning review in the Daily News. Stunning. The record got very good reviews, but it wasn't selling. But a station in Seattle started to play it, The End, and it performed. And then K-Rock started to play it.
Yeah.
So from August, September to December, it keeps going up. By December, the second to last week of Billboard reporting, the single goes #1 alternative record in the country. The album goes top 5. We sold 100,000 records that week, our biggest week, 103,000 records. I was at a Christmas party. I want to say it was for Loud. Jeff Fenster was there.
Okay.
Fenster fucked me on this deal on that alternative band, Roguish Armament. He fucked me royally. The band broke up. He came up to me and goes, congratulations. You have the #1 alternative record in the country. And he had a hat on. I took his hat and I threw it across the room. I said, don't fucking talk to me. And Maria Ma was there and Lisa Rowe. Yeah. And they got between me and they said, don't do it, Dante. Don't hit him. Don't do it. Come on. Don't do it. They're like hugging me. We're so proud of you. We're so proud of you. And that was cool. My sisters, because they were really good friends of mine. Yeah. That was like Lisa Rowe was my smoke weed partner. So, and Maria had gone out with Gibi for a long time. So, we, it was great. But then, I also had a little too much access to the world.
That's what I want. That's kind of what I was leaning at. How do you cope with that level of everything?
I bought a place. That was upside. I bought a place. I bought my first place, which was great, in Meatpacking. And I bought too many gold chains, a Rolex. I dated a lot of women. I was like, hey, let's go to Bahamas. You
Yeah.
know, let's go over
Yeah.
here. Like, let's
Yeah.
go to
Let's go to
Miami, you
Miami for
know.
you. Let's go to Miami. Let's
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
Let's go to LA. You know, like I'm just like doing it, spending money like stupidly because I got a big publishing deal.
I
It's the
can
first time I
imagine.
had it's the first time I could say I was a millionaire.
Yeah, I
Right?
got you. I
I
got
had
you.
$1 million
Yeah.
and a house, and I was in crazy good shape. I was super dedicated to working out, and that's when I guess that's when I started like boxing, doing jujitsu and stuff. So I was really into like being fit, but I also was drinking like a fish. And yeah, man, I lost sight of some things. But you know what was great is I got to work with a bunch of cool bands and do a bunch
I
of cool
bet.
shit. John Spencer Blues Explosion, Korn, The Getaway People, Rozelle. I got a label deal from Steve, my champ, which wasn't very successful, but was a lot of fun. I was too focused making records for other people because I could go and pick up a $60,000 check here,
Yeah.
$100,000 there.
Yeah.
And I became also like the biggest rock rap remixer, one of them. So if Butch Vig didn't do it, I did it. Whether it was
Yeah.
Incubus, Korn, the Deftones, I did all that shit. And all
Wow.
those gigs were $25,000 pop gigs.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I lined them up for days. I produced Nana Cherry, all this shit, man. I went to England and produced some shit. I tried to be a songwriter. I wasn't very good at it, but I got to produce Santana, and I got a song that won a Grammy on Supernatural, and those checks never stopped coming.
So
So
you got 2 Grammys.
so I got my Grammy for Everlast is though for best alternative song. The Grammy I got for Santana is for album of the year. So that's the real Grammy.
Where do you keep your trophies?
My Grammy is right. The Santana one I think is right behind me. I think it's right there. There it is in the corner. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
That's my Grammy. And for best alternative song, you know what you get? You get a fucking medal. Then you get another statue.
the
You get a
medal.
medal and a plaque. So I got the plaques, and I got the Santana Gold records of the platinum, 12-time platinum at 120. And I worked on 3 records with Santana. I liked working with him a lot. And I was a producer, a failed songwriter. I was not a great songwriter for 10 years. And I did that for 10 years, from 1999, 2000 to 2010 or so.
So tell me
it was
how
an
you
interesting
decided.
run.
Tell me, because people have told me this over the years, but I haven't had the gumption or whatever to do it. But tell me how you decided to write this book.
My dad is a writer. He published 11 books.
Oh wow!
When I was a kid, I won I didn't win it. Sorry, I came in second in a New York City sports writing contest. I was in middle school.
Wow!
I wrote about baseball. Red Smith, a famous writer.
Sports writer, Red Smith, huh?
He was the judge, one of the judges. My family had a mutual friend with his, James Roach, another sports writer, and he became my friend and told me I should be a sports writer. And I have this book he gave me called When the Strawberries Turn Red. It's about baseball. He told me in the book, he said, to Dante, you're on your way to the greatest job you'll ever know.
Wow!
And then he signed it. So
Red Smith. Wow,
I always want to
that's
be a
crazy.
writer. I always had literary aspirations, and I feel like I had the second best job in the world. Right? Red probably had. So it's a great job.
You did pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, and not even that I did it that good. It's just the opportunity to do it.
Yeah,
the job
true.
itself. For
True.
a music nerd like us, like, what do you want to be? An A&R guy? It's like you're the biggest music fan in the world, right?
Absolutely.
And that's all I ever been, really. So I wrote the book because I'm a good storyteller. Like 20 different people had told me to write a fucking book, including Sasha Jenkins, rest in peace.
Wow. God bless him. God bless him.
He and me and him had a very intricate relationship, up and down, sometimes good, sometimes bad. So by no means am I like, I don't want to be like, that was my best friend in the world. But when I wrote for Mass Appeal, and he was like, you should go write a book, because he plugged me in to write at Mass Appeal. There were some issues where me and him at the end wrote like 2/3 of the magazine. So he was one of the guys, and a few other people. Mel DeCole, Quest, Eric, people were like, dude, fucking go write a book already. Shut the fuck up. So me and my dad were going to write, we were going to write a book together. My dad got sick and we started to write it. I have the first like 80 pages we wrote together, but my dad got sick. He got cancer. He had a couple of bouts with chemo before. He was in remission, but he got sick and we put the book down because he had to live the end of his life. And I wrote the book when he was dying. I wrote it, and then after he passed, I couldn't look at it for 5 years. I just couldn't look at it.
It's been around that long.
Well, it hasn't been. So I fast forward to about, he died in 2011, to about 2016. I picked it up at the urging of his friend, who was also older, and he told me, you should write this. You need to write this. So I'd send him the manuscript. He asked to see it. I sent him. He said, you should write it, but rewrite it. So I spent some time rewriting it. And then I put it down again. So I had this literary agent who is the worst human being in the entire fucking planet. He ended up getting sued for millions and millions of dollars. I won't say his name because he's such a prick. He'd probably sue me. But you know who you are, and you're a prick if you ever hear this. I met him in jiu-jitsu by choking the shit out of him. So you should have realized I might choke the shit out of you one day. That said, it didn't work out. During the pandemic, I rewrote the entire book, and there had been a publisher who I don't love now after the book came out, but he had wanted to do the book prior to the rewrite. I did the rewrite. He got me an editor, and we put the book out. So that's the process of it. But the gumption came from being a good storyteller, and also the want to connect with my dad. And the man who told me to pick the book back up, QR Hand, Quentin Roosevelt Hand, my godfather, he passed away during the pandemic. So I got to be with him right before he passed away. I drove up to the Bay, and I stayed with him for a couple of days just to see him because it was important. My dad wanted me to always take care of him if I could. So my dad left behind some things, and we took care of QR. That's the best we could before he passed away.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
So that was the book, and that's why I wrote it, probably, to be close to my dad. And also I felt like I have a story to tell that is much bigger than just the music. So that part is the obvious, the bells and whistles. But I have an intricate life story. And it's very cathartic to put your life on paper and not to lie about it. So a lot of people write a story about themselves, and it's not very objective. I had a friend of mine who wrote a book, and I won't say his name, but his book he was always Superman. And I had a friend who's a great writer, Seth Rosenfeld, screenwriter mostly, playwright. And Seth, his word of advice for me was, be really honest about your faults, your shortcomings, and celebrate the wins, because that's what makes a book good. That's a good story. Ups and downs. Roller coaster. Yeah. So that's what I tried to do when I wrote the book. I tried to just keep it honest. You know, I'm also like long-term member of a 12-step program. And in the 12-step program I belong to, rigorous honesty is at the center of it. So being rigorously honest is at the center of my story. So I try not to lie. You know, I'm an honest person.
Congratulations, man, on everything, you know.
Thank you.
We could do this 5 hours, 7 hours.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like 10.
Easily.
Because I love talking because we know so much.
For the people who are listening, we skipped over a lot of shit. With all the shit we talked about, we skipped over a lot of shit.
We skipped over like the last 10 years, kind of. You know, we both worked at Warner Music Group.
Yes.
Jeff was at Atlantic. I was at ADA.
You were ADA, yep.
And,
I'd come down to your office. I'd come down to your office and we'd commiserate, you know?
Yep. I mean, Jeff was there when you were there when I brought him Made in Tokyo.
Absolutely. You had Ugly God.
Yep.
Yeah.
Little Dicky, who Atlantic passed on upstreaming.
Guy is like a megastar.
You know, it was one of those, those meetings where we do the meeting, and I gotta say, Little Dicky is so little. He's so Little Dicky. He goes, "How do you feel?" Craig Almus, "How do you feel about being on Atlantic Records?" And he goes, "Well, sounds great if you guys want to write the check and you promise me I'm going to be bigger than Macklemore. And Julie goes, what, are you crazy? No, I can't promise that. Who can promise that? I can't. No one can promise you that. And he goes, well, that's what I mean. And so the meeting's like, everyone laughs and the meeting ends. And, Craig, what do you think? And Mike Kaiser goes, I love him. I think we should do it. I don't know why. It's like the only time Mike Kaiser ever looked out for me in my life. He helped get me the axe. He put my head in the guillotine is what I heard. Mike, I grew up with you. I got your first job at Def Jam. I hope you hear this. By all I've heard behind the scenes, you helped chop me up. You helped barbecue me. Wow. Anyway, one day you'll explain that. And Julie was like, he's a charmer. And when she said that, I knew it wasn't going to happen.
It was over.
They didn't upstream him. It was over.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a weird place working there. But
It was a weird place. But we're here now. You know what I'm saying?
I did fucking 8 years there. So.
Yeah, you were there a long time. I did only 3. I did 3 years there, 16,
I started
18.
at Warner with Todd, Leor, and Joey. Then they put me at ADA because I found Macklemore. And Leor told me to bring it to Kenny. So I went to ADA. I became senior VP at ADA. And then it all went away.
Yeah.
Like it always does. All good things come to an end, man. No one stays at a record label longer than 10 years.
No.
That's miraculous.
It's miraculous. This is like some lady like in royalties or something. You don't really see some shit like
exactly.
that. But the
like
creative
A&R admin.
Exactly. But the creative positions don't last. Yeah, we got to, okay.
You know what's crazy? Between my 2 stints at the Warner Music Group, it was WIA in the beginning, between Elektra and ADA Warner Brothers, I worked there a total of 17 years.
Wow.
It's crazy.
That's a run.
Two different ones.
Two different empires, yeah. Quick, very quick. Couple questions, quick. And you've got a million of these, but tell me one artist you wanted to sign, but you didn't or couldn't.
Tribe Called Quest. They broke my heart.
Okay. Tell me one or two of your favorite artists and why. Everybody gets stuck in this question.
Everlast, because he's one of my best friends.
Okay.
I still talk to him almost every day. He's my brother, and we had the craziest experience working together. It was life-defining. So things aren't always life-defining.
Right.
And the other one is very, very hard to pick between Dirty and Doom.
Okay. Say them both then both of them.
Dirty and Doom, probably in part because they both passed.
Yes.
Doom because he was subjected to the craziest ordeal coming from KMD to become MF Doom.
Mm-hmm.
And died and experienced this rebirth career-wise, and he was fucking hilarious. Just hilarious, the funniest dude ever. Love him to death. What a great guy. And Dirty, because Dirty was dirty, and there's only one Dirty. Like Doom and Everlast, even singular, but Old Dirty Bastard was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that will never happen again. It never happened the same way again. No. He was like a shining star, a Halley's Comet. He was like, scorched earth times 10. And making that record was not easy, getting it done. But it was an experience that changed my life and told me to believe in myself because I knew more than most other people around me who doubted it. And I loved him for the experience of the record. Like, the album cover, just that alone, and how it went down with Danny Clinch and him, and the art direction which came from him, and all of it was this is why I do what I do.
Yeah.
That is the experience. That is the reason you do it. To have lightning in a bottle and to capture it.
Yes.
To bring the fucking ball in the end zone when there's the most formative defense in the world in front of you. To win Game 7. That's what that felt like to me. So working with him is that experience. So Old Dirty Bastard.
Okay. And last question, I'll tailor this for you. Tell me 2 of your favorite downtown restaurants.
That's a good question.
I know you're low-key a foodie.
I love to eat. I try not to say foodie.
Okay.
Interesting. So They have to still be open.
No, of course not.
So
Anything.
I'm going to pick my favorite burger spot because I've gone here since I was a kid, and that's a Corner Bistro.
Okay.
And every time I go to New York, I go there because it's the best affordable burger in New York. It's unchanged by time. It's not a smash burger. $20, you get that thick burger with the fries and I sit in the same. Yeah, I love that place. It's just my spot. And then, it was Da Silvano. They closed. So I ate at Silvano forever because they took such good care of me there. I knew Silvano, and that place is just unbelievable. The food is so good. So Bar PD, which his wife owns, Silvano closed, is right next door. I love that place. But I go to a place called El Posto, which is owned by my friend Julio, who used to own El Bagato. So him and his wife Beatrice own it. So it's on 2nd Street, the block I grew up in New York. The food is amazing, and they treat me great there. So that's where I go a lot. When I go to New York, I always have a meal there. The food is, 4 or 5 stars. The service is 5 stars. And I love eating on the block where I grew up. Yeah. So I go there as much for walking past my childhood house where I played stickball right next door to as much as a restaurant. I love the restaurant. The food is tremendous. If you are in New York, go. I love El Bagato. I think the food here is better than El Bagato. So that's my 2 spots.
Okay. That's it. We done.
Shout out to Winsome in Brooklyn too. That's a great one. I don't know if you know that place, but go there.
I don't know that place. Nah. Okay. Well, thank you, Dante Ross.
Thank you, Jeff Sledge.
This, man. This is amazing, man.
Jeff Sledge, who saved me at the Gavin convention in a melee in the lobby of the Gavin.
And that's where we really clicked.
Yeah, that's Sean always loved you. So
I loved Kaz.
You came with high recommendations.
Yeah, he used to call me
Sean could do no wrong.
He used to call me Mighty Joe Young.
Wow.
And he was the only guy that I was allowed to do. You're Mighty Joe Young, Sledge.
Yo, you cannot call someone that today.
I miss that guy, man.
I love him. He was the best.
I miss
Rest
that guy,
in peace to the
Rest
captain.
In peace to Sean Kazoff. I'm a Rushki, Sledge. I'm a Rushki.
He believed in me before I believed in myself.
Yeah. Sean was. He was from another era. He was special. He was a special dude.
You know who says that about him too? Ali. Ali's always like, man, Sean. He signed Tropical Quest, and no one knows that.
Yeah, I always tell people he signed Tribe Called Quest, and he won again. I'm gonna end this after this. He brought Far Side to Jive. He gave me that cassette. I swear to God, I wish I could find it. It had passing me by on the cassette, and we passed.
I passed on Far Side. They were too much like Leaders. I had to tape from Paul Stewart. You know who?
Paul Stewart.
You know who was gonna sign Tribe Called Quest?
Who's that?
I left Tommy Boy to sign them to Elektra.
Really?
And Jive paid $350. I was willing to pay $375. They would have kept their publishing, but Jive was a better label.
Yeah.
And that's why they went to Jive.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you, man. I really appreciate this, man.
Thank you, man. It was a good one.
You can catch Mixed and Mastered on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, or wherever you get your podcasts. Hit that follow button, leave a review, and tell a friend. I'm your host, Jeffrey Sledge. Mixed and Mastered is produced and distributed by Merrick Studios.